Hey guys, just another Daily Darkness. Kind of want to do another update for you. Now, I got asked about voices and how to basically, sound more feminine and things of that nature, which kind of brings me into another topic. But first, I'm going to address voices. Now, as you can tell, I just use my regular everyday voice. Because the thing of it is that though I can do a pretty feminine voice, when I do it, it sometimes cracks. Sometimes, if I do it for an extended period, I sound like, shit the next day because I'll be really hoarse. You got to do what's comfortable for you. Keep in mind that this was the body you were born in. Yes, it's far from the greatest body that you probably wanted or desired to be born in. And trust me, there's a lot of people that feel out there the same way, and it's not necessarily a gender thing. Keep in mind that, sometimes you got to own your own voice, and you got to be comfortable. I've got nothing against people who try to sound feminine, but keep in mind, sometimes when you're trying too hard. Your voice can crack, it can slip, it can do all kinds of things, and sometimes that can be more detrimental than what you're trying to do altogether. I say be you. Do what's comfortable for you. If you are your genuine self, everything else will fall in line. And this kind of brings me to the whole subject of passing. Because a lot of people in the transgender community are extremely concerned about that. And I get it to some degree because it means safety. The more feminine we look, the more passing we are, sometimes the better off and easier our lives can be. But there's a rub to that. Keep in mind that even women that were born assigned female have issues with passing. Recently in the news, there was a young woman who had recently survived breast cancer and had her breasts removed. And she would often get questioned, strange looks and things of that nature whenever she used local female facilities. Even though her ID stipulates she's female, even though everything else points the general direction that she's female, she still got a hard time. She was even forced out of a bathroom. That's not fair. That's not right. Because she's a survivor. She's a fighter. And it's great that here we have a cisgender hetero that's supporting us and championing us, but it shouldn't be that way. Because women, in and of itself, let's be honest. Not all the women that you know in your life are... Alright guys, sorry, internet's kind of being screwy. Not all women that you know that are in your life are 5'4", gorgeous, slender figure, barely weigh 100 pounds, large breasts, blonde hair, and a voice as if it was brought down to you from heaven itself. That's not your typical women. Women out there, we don't need makeup. We don't need high heels. We don't need fancy hair. That does not make us women. And not even biology makes us women now that we know that. It's who we are and how we identify. We're people, just like you. And that's the thing, I was just so worried about the transgender community and efforts to be quote-unquote passing, because sometimes it winds up being more detrimental to yourself, Because, let's be honest, not all of us fit into the same cookie-cutter mold. All of us are unique. All of us have to be ourselves, and we have to own that. When we come out as transgender, we're trying to identify as our true selves, to say, hey, this is who we really are, and not the facade, like in my case, that I've had to put on for the past 30-some-odd years. This is basically one of those things. Keep in mind, passing is one of those things that make me grit my teeth. There are women out there, like I said, that do not fit the cis heteronormative of quote-unquote passing, and they're biologically female. They were born female, and yet they don't match those meanings. There was a young woman who had a short haircut that was given a hard time in the women's bathroom, and she wound up being cisgender. And, that's the thing, passing should not be your only concern. Keep in mind you are you, and you can only fake so much of that. That's why I choose to use my actual voice. Sometimes it's to its own great effect. I've actually had people compliment me saying, hey, at least you're being your genuine self. You're trying to be you, and you're trying to be comfortable, and you're doing what makes you happy. And at the end of the day, that's what we want. There's no point in always going out and getting super expensive surgery to, feminize our face and shave down our Adam's apple. There's very little we can do on voice. You can take voice trainers all day, but they don't work 100%. There's nothing surgically yet that you can do that's 100% effective for changing the voice. Sometimes you just got to own who you are and be you. You know, granted, yes, this isn't the bodies that we would have chosen to be in. But the kicker of it is these were the bodies that we were given, and we've got to deal with the complexities of it. The powers that be put us in this spot to show the world that, hey, gender is just a construct. It's just something that's in everybody's fucking head. And if you identify one way, that's how you are. You know, I identify as female. Wasn't born that way, but doesn't make me any less of a woman. Doesn't make a woman who has short hair any less of a woman. Doesn't make a woman any less of a woman. And most importantly, it doesn't mean because you have a deep or thick voice that you're any less of a woman either. Because trust me, there was some Hollywood starlets that had the most gravelly voices out there, and they blew people away with that. Something to think about. So don't be so concerned or focused on trying to, guise your voice. I get passing sometimes means less hassle, less of a problem. But keep in mind, even biological women have issues now. Something to think about. Alright, guys, I love you. I figure I'd go ahead and touch on voices and passing. Keep in mind, just be you. And be the best you that you can be. Don't try to set into any type of mold or standard that anybody else sets for you. Love you guys.